folks, it's Ken Wilford at Vanagon here. About 15 years ago we did a video about removing the gas tank from a Vanagon. Then probably 5 years ago I did a video about installing the level sending unit in a Vanagon. At the time we did the 15 years ago video about taking the gas tank out, we also did a video about putting it back, and I had said that that was going to be part 2, and then my phone at the time ate that video, so we never published it. And over the years people have politely harassed me about it, saying, Ken, when are you going to ever do that? When are you going to ever do that? Today is the day. Okay, so what we've got here is our brand new gas tank. We bought this from Vanagon. We've got our brand new crossover tube. Okay, we also bought that from Vanagon. When they come, they'll come with these seals on it. Okay, but you remove those. Okay, and we already installed our level sending unit. That's another video that we did already, so you have to look that up. And then what I like to do is take a little bit of Vaseline, put it on these seals here, and they're not actually O-rings, or seals. And then you just put them into the gas tank. And you do it real nice, because if you push on it too hard, the seal winds up going down inside the gas tank. And then you're like, oh crap, I just lost my seal in the gas tank. So don't do that. Instead, put the Vaseline on it. Take this screwdriver once it's in there and kind of go around like this and make sure that the hole is like a complete circle. Okay, so it's fully seated. Then you put some more Vaseline inside this hole right here. Okay, and that is ready. When you get ready to put this in, okay, it'll just slide in. Now you don't want to do that yet, because you actually have to put this up in the car. Okay, that's going to be in the frame of the car. You can't install it while the whole thing's out. That would be way too easy. Okay, it'd be nice if you could do that, but the problem is, in this area there is your shifter linkage, your emergency brake linkage, and if you try to install that plastic crossover pipe first before you put the gas tank in, you're going to wind up hating life, because it'll get interfered with by the shift linkage and the e-brake linkage and stuff. All right, now the other side was easy because was right on it. All right, so there we go. So got that one in. Again, you just do this after you put it in with like a Phillips head screwdriver is what I use. You're making sure it's seated properly. Okay, so that's the 2 ones for the crossover tubes. Then this one is for the filler neck vent pipe. Okay, so when you go to install your plastic crossover, it goes between these two right here, the two, this one and this one. It doesn't go between here and here, because that will make your life terrible. Again, because you're trying to make the crossover tube go too far. Okay. And you know, why am I saying all this stuff? Because I have did all of these things myself the first time or two I was doing this, and experienced much pain and heartache. Okay, and fighting with this. I've had people call me on the phone, Ken, I can't get that stupid plastic thing to go into this thing. I'm pushing it so hard. I'm like, yeah, because you didn't put no Vaseline on it, right? No. All right. No, that's why. Now, here is your filler neck seal. This is critical, boys and girls. What is critical about it? That it has a big side and a little side. Okay? Now, the big side goes out. Okay, I would think that would be obvious to human beings who have installed anything in their life, but it isn't. Okay, the big side goes out, the little side goes in. When you put this in, you make sure that it's seated in here properly. Okay, then you make sure that you put some Vaseline on this also. then you make sure that your filler neck, where it's going to go in here, is nice and clean, okay? Because if you do not do that, it is going to act like you're trying to shove the dry filler neck in here, okay? I don't want to describe to you what that's like, but it's not pleasant. Let's just say that, okay? I'm not going to get into any things about that, okay? All I'm going to say is that a little bit of lube goes a long way, okay? So you lube this up, you clean that thing up. When you push that in, it's going to go in past where it's supposed to stop. Then you have to pull it back a little bit, and then you're good. But if you try to do this with the small side in, or with the big side in, it's going to cause a problem. If you do it where you don't put any lube on it, and the thing's all dirty, you just shove it in there, guess what? You're going to rip this seal right here, okay? Again, people will be calling me, Ken, I don't like this one brand of seal because it's bad, it goes bad, it goes bad. Listen, I'm telling you what the problem is right now, okay? Most likely, it's the install, okay? It's not the seal, it's the install, because when the person did the install, they didn't put any lube on here, okay? And then they just manhandled it in there, and it doesn't like it. Okay, now you can see our tank we got. This is made in Taiwan. These are the ones I recommend. They're great. I've been selling them and installing them for 20-something years. Are they perfect? I mean, what's perfect? Okay, God's perfect. Everything else isn't. This isn't God. This is a gas tank, okay? So, and you can see some stuff. Look, it's got a little, this has got a little ding in it right here. Look, over here, look at that. Oh my gosh, no. Why? It's bent. It doesn't affect nothing, okay? It affects nothing. Look, here's an even worse one. Look at that. Oh no, throw it away. No, it's just this, look, you can see where it's welded. Here's where the weld's at. Here's this. So how does that do anything? Okay, it doesn't. This is just cosmetic. They're gonna get bent on the tips areas. It doesn't do nothing, okay? So don't freak out. Again, people call me, oh, it's so, I'm like, it's fine, okay? Well, you're worried, if anything bad happens to this part, that's another story. But this little edges, okay, they don't do anything. They're there for like a kind of a buffer zone. So that is to this point. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is install some hoses on here, okay, and over here. And we got that set up ready to go. We're going to put that in the car. And I guess we'll try to do another video where we try to actually put it in the car. We'll do an update on that. All right, guys, so we'll see you on the next one. In and out. All right, I hired a male model to do this part because this is for the ladies, okay? So he's putting, this is my son-in-law, Josh. He's putting these hoses on the tank. What I usually do is get the old ones and just use them for the length of the new ones. And then I clamp them. See, look, he's getting into it. Use the rotisserie and spin it around. And then you put some WD-40 on the fittings and stuff. It helps everything slide together. WD-40 isn't really going to affect anything because it can burn in your motor. So we're good on that. So you slide them on there. Use the old ones as your guide for length. Slide them on there, clamp them. Then we're going to put the plastic pieces in them. And then the secret sauce is, once he gets that all done, let me pause it here and I'll bring you back for that part of it again. Okay, heard. All right, so we're putting these hoses on the tank here, using some WD-40 to help stuff kind of slide together. And we use the old rubber hoses as a guide for your lengths, okay? Our gas tank kit comes with clamps to clamp stuff together. I like the worm drive clamps versus the Ottinger style clamps. just because the worm drive clamps seem to hold better to me over time. So, but you don't, this is all like pretty much zero pressure. It's just a venting system for the gas tank. So it's, you could probably push these things together by hand, and if you got them together good enough, they probably wouldn't even need a clamp. But we clamp them anyway, just for, the heck of it. And you never know when them people at the gas, in New Jersey, we don't pump our own gas. We have our servants do that for us. And our servants sometimes rebel. They decide they're going to have an uprising. Part of their uprising is actually pumping your gas extra and, trying to somehow top it off, quote unquote. So that can make stuff pop. All right, so that's how these things are put together. Okay, I'm going to stop my rambling about gas station. The next thing I want to do is get some painter's tape or packing tape, something that's sticky but not like going to stick forever. Painter's tape's good because it's made for that, to release, to stick, but also to release. So you want to kind of put these two, I usually just tape them to each other. Okay, and you can just do that and make it so that they're together, but also they can easily be taken back apart. So what that does is when you go to put the tank in, if you don't do that, these hoses will get caught in the frame and cause you all kinds of problems. If you do this and you put it up in there, then once you get it up in there, you can reach your hand in through the wheel well, pop this tape off, and then they'll just be ready to go. Okay, so that's kind of the biggest trick out of this, besides, what I was showing you before with the Vaseline and stuff and seating things. All right, so now we're ready to put our tank in. We're going to go to the next step. All right, so this is the filler neck I've been telling you guys about. This section over here is where you want to make sure this is clean. So, Josh took some WD-40 and a rag and just wiped it all down. And when we get ready to install it, we're just going to put some Vaseline on this whole part right here, and it's going to slide together real nice. Okay, you also have, this is your vent thing here. There's a seal up here that we could probably replace, but again, you can do this without when the gas tank's already in. So we may do it, we may not. Okay, but that's pretty much it for that point. So now we're getting ready to take this gas tank. We're going to go up under here, and this edge here gets pushed up first. It kind of goes on an angle, okay? And as it goes up like this, you can see the level setting unit plug is dangling. Then you plug that in once you get it up, and then you want to get a jack under the center of this. That's how I usually do it. So I'll get this edge started, then I'll put the jack under, kind of about the middle underneath, and just slowly jack up on it. Don't put any tension on it or pressure, nothing like that. And then once you get it up to the point where you can plug this in, you plug this in, and then you should be able to, keep taking it up until it's totally horizontal. And then once it's at that point, then you can put in your straps. Okay, so that's what we're gonna be trying to do next. Hi, Vanagon Addicts, it's Ken Wilford here, and I normally do this with like I was telling you, but I decided to just man it in here, apparently.
Here's the one.
It's opposite world. Spin it around. Alright.
I'm supporting it.
Okay, got it. So normally I'll just get the front edge in, and then I will, put the strap in on this end. That'll keep it up that way. And then we just need the other strap. And I got it supported, Josh. You don't have to hold it. It's good. Alright, then you sneak that end. Yeah, the side that's got the pointy thing. But it has to, the other end. Yep, there you go. And then it has to go up, flip it upside down. Now get it in there. Put it on an angle. There you go. Just put it in that holy poo right there. You getting it?
Is it kind of bent a little bit?
Yeah, you have to put it on like an extreme angle. There you go, you got it. And you just kind of push it up like that. Okay. Then you kind of mess with these straps a little bit. So you see this edge is all the way up here. That's what you want. Let me grab a bolt. I'm just gonna get that started in here like this. Okay, so it'll be held up good. That feels like it's doing something. Let me tighten it just a little bit. Yep. Alright, so this side's Gucci. Man, it could use some WD-40, I'll tell you that much. Oof. And then let me try this other side.
This side doesn't feel it.
Now, this side, I don't feel like it's seated good in here for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Is that better? We beat it a little bit. Is it fully seating or not seating?
She's, yeah.
I think we're good. Let me get this side. Got it?
Yeah.
Just hold it right there for a second. This side's not going together quite as nice as the other side. I'm not totally sure why. There's usually a reason. Like I said, normally I use, because I'm doing this all alone, I'll usually use the jack to do it. But today, since I have all these extra helpers, I thought I'll just do it the manly way and just bench press it up in there. Uh-oh. All right, hold it. I just have to tighten this down a little bit. Okay. Ish. Man, this thing is so disgusting here. Should have ran a tap in this or something. All right, so I think we got it in now. We got our centering unit plugged in. We got our straps in. Now we're just gonna be hooking up our lines and hoses and things. But I think we got it. Yep, and then this is pulling up. So I think we're good. Yep. So, I mean, it's not that hard, especially if you have more than one person. I usually do it alone. All right, it's actually getting easier now that it's getting past that initial trash garbage effect. You can see this side's all nice and loose. The other side was like fighting the whole way.
Well, it doesn't make it too easy.
All right, but it's back up in there, guys. So now we're just gonna be hooking up some lines and hoses, and hopefully we'll be getting this car back online again.